Greetings, friends. And it's the grumpy old man broadcasting from WDWL TV, a division of Grumpy Vulture Productions, located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. Oh, that goddamn vulture gets more props than I do. Okay. We're starting off the program today with a severe weather warning for South Florida. Anybody living in Sanibel, Cape Coral, or Naples, take care and beware of falling iguanas. Yes, you may be the unfortunate person to get hit in the head with a falling iguana. So go to the Homeless Depot or your local construction store and get yourself a construction helmet. Because I'm sure, especially you seniors, if you walk into an emergency room with an ice pack on your head and you tell them you were hit in the head with a falling iguana, they're going to take you right to the psych ward. Yes, it's true, friends. The temperature is in the 40s in that area. And with iguanas being cold-blooded, when the temperature gets in the 40s and lower, they freeze to death. So, if you're walking through your neighborhood and you happen to get hit in the head with a falling iguana, pick that poor soul up and take him in and warm him up. Or if you want to go into the iguana sales business, get yourself a basket and be like Little Red Riding Hood. Tiptoe through your neighborhood and pick up the iguanas that fell down and pop them in the basket, take them home, warm them up, put a sign on eBay. Iguanas, your choice, any size, any color. That'd be the last thing I want to get hit in the head with. A falling iguana. Well, falling anything, but, especially if they flip over when they fall, they got some nasty spines on their back. Imagine getting stuck in the head with that. Walk in the emergency room with an iguana stuck into your head. See, I don't have to worry about that here. No falling vultures. I only have one, and he stays in his cage. I'd hate to have that happen. Goddamn vultures, they get bigger than fucking turkeys. Imagine getting a head with one of them. But I think that would be cool. Not cool in the way of cool, but can you imagine walking into the emergency room with an iguana stuck to your scalp? I can see the emergency room doctor. Well, sir, how did this happen? Well, I was just walking along and this iguana fell out of the tree and he stuck to my head. I wonder what code they would use for your hospitalization. Is there a code, a payment code for iguanas stuck to your head? Any of you people that do coding for insurance, let me know. What's the code for iguana falling from tree and spine sticking in scalp? Can you see walking in with an iguana stuck on your head? I can see the girl at the emergency desk going, "What can I help you with, sir?" Well, yes, you are wearing an iguana on your head. What's what I need you to help me with? This iguana that's stuck to my head. Let me see if I have a code for that. I'm sorry, your insurance won't pay for iguana stuck to head. I can see, in the next couple of days, a bunch of seniors walking around with their heads bandaged. What happened to you, Harvey? I was just walking along and this iguana fell out of the tree and stuck to my head. So any of you in those three areas, go to your local, hardware store, your supply store, like Homeless Depot or Lowe's, and get yourself a construction hat in case an iguana falls out of a tree. He won't injure you that bad. Yeah. We got snow here today. Last night, there were these nice little soft, fluffy snowflakes falling, and they had just barely covered, the hood and the trunk, the hood and the roof of the truck. And I come out this morning of fucking 12 inches of goddamn fluffy white shit. And of course, in our area, we won't see a snowplow until like the 15th of August. It was fun driving to the store. Although I got to tell you, I got a good laugh. I've got a bare bones 97 Nissan pickup, which has been made lighter over the years by the rust and rot, because every time I slam a door, a little more of the body falls off of it. But it's the basic bare bones. Got a radio, heater, and a manual. Now it does have power steering and air. I think power steering was standard, but the air don't work. But I mean, bare bones, nothing fancy, bottom of the line, entry level. That son of a bitch just walked right through the snow. And I thought for a minute I might get stuck because the streets were nothing but wheel ruts. And here was this idiot with his brand new couple-year-old big SUV trying to get in his driveway. He was trying to back in. And he'd back in and it would start to slip a little bit, and he'd gun the shit out of it. Then he'd roll back out into the street and try another run. All four wheels spinning, snow all over the place. Friends, if you've got a four-wheel drive, ease that accelerator. Easy, easy, easy. It'll walk in. As soon as the wheels start to spin, don't put the pedal to the metal. I like these people that buy these 4x4s that don't know shit how to drive them. You know, I got my RAV4 out there. Last winter, the nastiest snow that we had. Even FedEx trucks were getting stuck. I was driving down the street, drive around them, wave. Hey, Betty. That sucker could have climbed the side of a building. But see, first of all, it's a 5-speed. So if it starts to spin in first gear, you drop it into second gear and you take off a little slower. Ease into it. No. Blow the transmission. Because I'll tell you what, the transmissions on these new vehicles are not like the transmission in my 97 RAV. No way. Everything is cheaper. It's electronic. It's got a bunch of bullshit in it to burn out. I still want a Transit Connect. I love those little. But I want the first gen, not the second. And this is where Ford really pissed me off. Because the first year that they imported them into the United States at the auto show, they had 2 of them with 5-speed transmissions. Now, they were left-hand drive, made for the USA, okay? Well, when I went up to order one, I was told no manuals. I said, "You want to see my cell phone? I got a picture of one from the auto show." That was just a demo to show you what it was going to look like. Because they didn't think that they would sell. Although, yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any citizens nowadays that know how to drive a manual. Big trucking companies had to renew their fleets with automatic transmissions because they couldn't find students at truck driving schools that could operate a manual transmission. And yes, the take rate is about 3%. Only 3% of the United States population wants a manual. That's why you can hardly find any. Except me. I own 2. And if I've got to replace one, I will look for another one. Right now, I'm looking for a Nissan Titan with a manual. So far, haven't found one. I love my little Nissan pickup. I'd like to graduate to the bigger, the Titan, but I want a manual. Automatics are fucking boring. A manual keeps you. It's one of the best things to drive because you're using all 4 limbs. You got your left hand on the steering wheel, your right hand on the shifter, your left foot on the clutch, your right foot on the accelerator. You're staying active. Shit, if I drove an automatic a long distance, I'd fucking fall asleep. "72 years old, I still want my manual transmission." I'd also like to find, and I believe, it was 2010. I think 2010 is the last year you could get an F-150 with a manual. So I'm trying to find, hopefully, something older. I'd like to find a 25-year-old F-150 with a manual, but I'd like to really find a Nissan Titan with a manual. Everybody said that motor in the Titan, you can't kill it. So I'm looking. I hope to find one. And not necessarily a 4x4. I'll go with a two-wheel drive if I can find a manual. And I know they made them. I looked it up. But I didn't look at what the cutoff year was. Although I really don't want a new one. If I could find like a 25-year-old Nissan Titan with a manual. Right now, I know where there's a Jeep, but I think it's an automatic. There's an older Jeep that I know why it's been sitting for over a year. Because the older Jeeps are known for the spring mounts on the frame to rot away. And I believe that's why this thing's sitting. One of these days, I'm going to ask, because it's been sitting for well over a year, almost 2 years. It did leave for a couple of days, and I think possibly they might have gone to a welding shop, and the guy probably quoted them an outrageous price. But where the springs mount to the frame, they used to call them torque boxes, but yeah, the spring mounts, they rot away. So your suspension just pulls right off the frame. And I think that might be what the problem is with this one. But I chance it. But I think it's an automatic. And nothing worse than a CJ with an automatic. Oh my God. The thought of it just makes my hair stand on end. Look at it, my beard just went crazy. Who on God's green earth would put an automatic in a CJ? It's ridiculous. I can't, I don't understand it. You buy a Jeep for fun, for like, rock crawling and mud bogging. You can't do that with an automatic. Now I know a lot of people can't drive automatics, but that was the worst thing that Jeep ever did. Let's ruin a vehicle with an automatic. I'd love to find an old, World War II Jeep, although the price would be ridiculous. But those were fun. They were just bare bones vehicles, little 4-cylinder, 4-speed. I think there were 3 speeds. And then Jeep came up with the stupid idea of putting an automatic transmission in a CJ. It's ridiculous. You've just ruined that vehicle. And I think this one might be an automatic. I get the feeling, I haven't looked that close, but something tells me it. Although if I could get it for the right price, I would take a chance that maybe somebody could do some welding at a reasonable price, because I'm pretty sure that's why it's sitting. They're known for it. The frames on them things where all the welds for the spring mounts just rotted away. And with that, I think I'm going to go have some dinner. And hopefully this microphone didn't blow you away. This is, the fancy Blue Yeti stereo mic. And I had it all adjusted the last time. It was perfect. And as far as I can see, it's still set the way it was, but we'll see. It's maybe a video of just the old man moving his mouth, in which a lot of people will be like, hey, I don't have to listen to him. And with that, Grumpy's going to say goodnight, and a special goodnight to number 30. Number 30, you're still my man. Have a good evening.